We have the governor of Texas in the house. Yes, let's hear it to the governor of Texas. We have Judge Freyer in the house, and of course, Kululam. And you're gonna have an amazing Friday with Kululam, so please be seated. We are about to start. גבירותיי ורבותיי, אנחנו חייבים להתחיל. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to start on time. Please be seated. Thank you. גבירותיי ורבותיי, בבקשה לשבת. אנחנו מתחילים. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. גבירותיי ורבותיי, בבקשה לשבת. אנחנו צריכים להתחיל.
Welcome to the National Israeli-American Conference. A few brief house rules before we begin. We ask that you kindly put your cell phones on silent, but by all means, please use it to share things from the conference in any way you like. You will hear many different opinions on stage. This is, after all, a Jewish conference. The speakers at the conference do not represent the IAC in any way, and their thoughts and opinions are entirely their own. That being said, please let's respect them all. Applause is always appreciated. Thank you and enjoy.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in the hour of darkness, she's standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let
יש מפרש לבן באופק מול ענן שחור כבד כל שנבקש לו יהי ואם בחלונות הערב אור נרות החג רועד כל שנבקש לו יהי
We all feel the goosebumps when we land in Ben Gurion Airport. Or when we hear a Shlomo Artzi song playing in the background. The pride we feel when we see an Israeli athlete wins an Olympic medal. And we all know how high we jump when an Israeli artist gets a 12 points. Or when our Israeli basketball team wins. How proud we are when an Israeli actor or TV series breaks through. Or when an Israeli innovation is changing the world. And how we're always the first ones to join hands when help needed. We certainly all know the feeling when war breaks out in Israel.
Breaking news out of the West Bank.
Or when we get news of another terror attack.
Condition following
We all know how we feel when we sing Nefesh Yehudi Homiya. When we stand as one at the transition from Yom HaZikaron to Yom HaAtzmaut. As we recognize the miracle of the one and only Jewish state in the ancient land of Israel. We all know the feeling of us coming together as a united community. Together, we connect the young generation to Israel. We empower them to be proud in their identity and heritage and always stand for who they are. We stand together for their future when and where it is needed. We empower new leaders that promote a connection to Israel within the Jewish community and America. We build a community excited about Israeli entrepreneurship and innovation and a culture of giving. We will always stand strong as a united and active community with Israel at heart. That feeling makes us who we are. And that is the IAC.
Please welcome IAC Council Member Lily Saad and IAC Rimon Member Dr. Kaylin Silverberg.
Shalom and welcome to Austin.
Welcome. I'm a proud American and a Texas Jew.
and I'm a proud Israeli American and Texas Jew.
So Lily, before we start, I want to get to know something about this amazing crowd. I was here last night and saw them going crazy. It was great. How many of you have been to Austin before? Who's having a good time in Austin? That's good. How many of you want to come back to Austin? That's great. Well, welcome. We're so glad that you're here. So Lily, when Carol and I first met you in Yigal here in Austin over 25 years ago, it was our Jewish connection that brought us together. But at the time, it was a bit awkward. We were like distant cousins, familiar, but also foreign.
However, through the years, our friendship has grown. Together, we have advocated to help strengthen our local Jewish community, educate people about modern Israel, garner bipartisan support for Israel in the US Congress, and combat anti-Semitism and the BDS movement.
At the same time, we've also traveled together to Israel. We've shared lots of really good Middle Eastern food. We've argued a lot about politics and so much more. Along the way, our friendship made us more like close family. This transformation happened because of our shared underlying values that fuel our passion for Israel.
So Caleb, why do you care so much about Israel?
Well, my love for Israel really comes from my great aunt and my great uncle. They immigrated from Poland to the United States in the early 1900s. After becoming established in the United States, they were able to rescue a handful of our family from Poland in 1939 before the Holocaust really got going. My great aunt, who I remember as a petite little woman, bravely traveled back and forth by ship to Poland, bringing as much family as she could to Chattanooga, Tennessee, including my grandmother, who was pregnant with my mother at the time. Unfortunately, much of the rest of our family perished in the Holocaust. So my family unfortunately witnessed firsthand the powerlessness of being Jewish in the world without a strong state of Israel. Lily, why do you care so much about Israel?
Yigal and I grew up in Israel, served in the army there, and then left to seek other opportunities to secure our family's financial future. It was not easy to leave our families and leave our beloved country. But like many of you here, we became wandering Jews in search of economic security, always thinking we would return home. As you know, life sometimes takes us on a different path. We are like the Israeli TV commercial which says, living in America, feeling like we are in Israel. חיים באמריקה, מרגישים בישראל. Nevertheless, the best thing that happened to us here in our is our American Jewish friends who are like family to us. They taught us to belong, to be part of the existing Jewish organizations, to be part of the greater Jewish community, to share our Israeliness with this community. To tell the truth, Israel is a compelling factor whether we are American Jews or Israeli American. Why separate us? We are one. We hope and we believe that this is the path for all of us. Together, ביחד.
Thank you. So Lily and I are so humbled to introduce you to Texas Governor Greg Abbott. After serving as a Texas Supreme, right. After serving as a Texas Supreme Court Justice and then as Attorney General, Governor Abbott was elected governor of our great state in 2014. Under Governor Abbott, our state has flourished. We have the second largest economy in the United States, and believe it or not, Texas has the 9th largest economy in the entire world. And Texas-Israeli commerce makes up a significant part of this. If you look at the data, in 2021 alone, Texas exported over $1.1 billion in goods and services to Israel and imported over $1.5 billion from Israel. It's really amazing. And to give you another statistic that you're not going to believe, Israeli headquartered businesses operate in over 60 locations throughout Texas. I bet you most of you can't name 60 locations throughout Texas. During one of his visits to Jerusalem, Governor Abbott declared that anybody who is an enemy of Israel is an enemy of Texas. Whenever anybody threatens Israel, we will support Israel in any way we can. And boy, has Governor Abbott delivered on his promises. In addition to everything else he's accomplished, Governor Abbott has also signed not one but two anti-BDS bills prohibiting state agencies from doing business with contractors boycotting Israel. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an unbelievable privilege, and we're so happy that you can help us welcome a true and strong friend of Israel and of our community, Governor Greg Abbott.
I want to say thank you for the very warm welcome and the very nice introduction. As the Governor of Texas, my foremost responsibility should be to welcome you to the great state if you're not from Texas. If you're from Texas, you know you're in the greatest state in the entire world. It really is a privilege to get to welcome and to participate in the Israeli American Council event that you are hosting here in Austin. First of all, we're proud to have you in Austin. But second, there you go. But second, I'm proud to have the opportunity to get to visit with such steadfast advocates for the Jewish community in America as well as the Jewish community in Israel. But I want to start out by thanking someone who has been instrumental in the advocacy that you're involved in, to the organization that you're involved in, and that is dear friends of mine, Sheldon and Miriam Adelson. I thank them for their leadership and everything that they have done. So to elaborate a little bit more on the introduction, listen, there is a strong and enduring bond between the people of Texas as well as the people of Israel. We share the blessings of liberty, but also the burdens of vigilance. Texans were forged in the fire at the Battle of the Alamo. Just like Jewish people have been forged from some of the most epic struggles in the history of the entire world. In each case, we eventually triumphed. Importantly, in another context, the history of the people of Israel is intertwined with the history of both Texas and the United States of America. In America, our United States Constitution, just as the Texas Constitution, are founded on the rule of law. Our rule of law has its roots in the law revealed to Moses on two tablets. Those two tablets are the Ten Commandments. The Ten Commandments are displayed in one location, which is the United States Supreme Court on a massive frieze that encircles the area where oral arguments are made at the Supreme Court. The Ten Commandments are found to be displayed more than 50 times in the United States Supreme Court building. And here in Texas, we wanted to display the Ten Commandments on our Capitol grounds as a recognition of the historical role the Ten Commandments have played in the formation of laws in Texas and the United States. They're on a monument that stands more than 10 feet tall. And before I was governor, I was the Attorney General of Texas. And when I was the Attorney General of Texas, there was an atheist walking across the Texas Capitol grounds and saw that Ten Commandments monument and filed a lawsuit to have that monument removed from sight so no one would be able to see it. And I said, not on my watch will I allow the Ten Commandments to be torn down off of the Texas Capitol grounds. That lawsuit went all the way to the United States Supreme Court, where I argued it personally to the United States Supreme Court And when they asked me the tough questions, I said, right above you where the justices were sitting, you find Moses. There's a frieze of Moses holding the 10 Commandments. If it's good enough for the Supreme Court, it's good enough for the state of Texas. And we won, and the 10 Commandments still stands on the Texas Capitol grounds today. I have no idea how much time you have remaining in Austin, but if you have another day or so, if you go to just the northwest side of the Capitol grounds, there's a driveway that goes around there. And that's exactly where they are. Interestingly, they're situated halfway between the Capitol and the Texas Supreme Court building. But listen, in addition to our historical connection, I've had the opportunity to see firsthand how really connected the people of Texas and Israel are by traveling to Israel. And once again, I need to extend my thanks to the Adelsons, because it was the Adelsons who aided and assisted my travels to Israel so that I could get to experience the unique bond that we do share. In my last trip there, I had the opportunity to visit the American Embassy in Jerusalem. And it is in addition to his new home in Jerusalem, it is also home to a small piece of Texas. It's a cornerstone plaque from Texas for the embassy, and it manifests the long-standing bond between our people. In our first visit there, we being my wife and myself, we visited Yad Vashem, the Holocaust Memorial in Jerusalem. She and I laid a wreath in the Hall of Remembrance. And each time I've been there, I had the opportunity to visit with Prime Minister Netanyahu. The first time I was in his office, and his office is actually very small, and as we were visiting, he got up from where we were sitting and went to a map on the wall to describe the territory surrounding Israel. And he profoundly made the point that Israel is the safest location in a very dangerous neighborhood. And it was during that time when we shared our concerns about the deal that was being made at the time between President Obama with Iran. And let me be clear, it is against our interest to enter into deals with countries that call for death to America and show open hostility to Israel. Actions speak louder than words. And Iran said a lot when it fired 2 ballistic missiles with writing on it saying Israel should be wiped off the earth. So long as Iran is a threat to Israel, Iran is a threat to Texas. And as you heard in the introduction, we've backed that up with our actions, because we have banned taxpayer-funded investment in Iran. We have banned Texas government entities from contracting with companies doing business with Iran. In Texas, we do not do business with regimes that seek to wipe Israel off of the face of the earth, period. You also heard that I signed anti-BDS laws that ban state agencies from doing business with companies that boycott Israel. Airbnb is an example of one that imposed discriminatory policies against Israelis in the West Bank. So we banned the state of Texas from doing any business with Airbnb. Another similarity that we have, very profoundly, is the spirit of entrepreneurship. There are incredible entrepreneurs in Israel, and Texas is home to the best entrepreneurs in the United States of America. I got to see firsthand what was going on in Israel during one of my trips to Tel Aviv, and I went to Startup Nation and got to visit and see for myself the dynamic ecosystem that has been developed in Israel that is profound not just for Israel, but is reaching across the entire globe, even doing business here in the state of Texas. is something that Israel is rightfully very proud of, just like Texas is rightfully proud of everything that our entrepreneurs have been able to accomplish. Our economy, quite literally, is America's undisputed economic leader. We lead America in producing the food, the fiber, and the fuel that we use every single day. Texas is #1 in America for cattle, cotton, and oil and gas that make sure that it powers our country. We lead the nation in semiconductor manufacturing. In Texas, we have the world's largest medical center. And Texas has led the United States of America in exports for 20 years. We rank #1 as the best state for business by CEOs for 18 years in a row. We have led the nation in job growth repeatedly. We've been #1 for economic development for 10 years in a row. And Texas is home to more Fortune 500 company headquarters than any other state in the country. Texas is the headquarters of headquarters. And most importantly, to bring this to the point where it matters the most, more of my fellow Texans have a job today than ever before in the history of our great state. And because of what all of our people, our workers and companies are doing, if you add it all up, they are producing a $2 trillion a year economy, making Texas that 9th largest economy in the entire world. But listen, as y'all know, as well as I do, just as important as economic security is your own personal security for you and your family. And we see that security threatened time and again by ongoing acts of anti-Semitism. It was last year, this week, when a gunman took 4 people hostage at the Congregation Beth Israel Synagogue near Fort Worth. Swift action by law enforcement led to the safe evacuation of the 4 people who were held hostage. But it hasn't ended the dangers that arise because of anti-Semitic behavior. And that's why I awarded $10 million in grants to secure places of worship like synagogues in the state of Texas. Now listen, there's no doubt that we have extraordinarily bright futures ahead of Israel, ahead of Texas, ahead of the United States, and importantly, ahead of the ongoing relationship between Israel and the United States. But at the same time, there's also no doubt that we have challenges ahead of us. Challenges concerning your safety. Challenges concerning anti-Semitism. Challenges about preserving freedom, as well as challenges about protecting the entrepreneurial spirit that we all share. But one thing I think is fair to say about all of us, we are accustomed to challenges and overcoming them. And that brings me to tell you a story about something that many of you probably did not know before I came out on stage today. Some of y'all may have seen me in the past on a TV station or something like that and had no idea that the governor of Texas was in a wheelchair. Let me tell you what happened. I had graduated from the University of Texas and then went on to graduate from Vanderbilt Law School and then moved to Houston, where I had taken a job as a lawyer working for a big law firm in downtown Houston. And one day I was doing something that I always did. I went for a jog. And on this day when I was out going for a jog, a massive oak tree crashed down onto my back, fracturing my vertebrae and my spinal cord, leaving me immediately paralyzed and forever needing to use the wheelchair that I'm still using today. And I can see some people, as I tell that story, shaking their heads, wondering, how slow was that guy jogging to get hit by a falling tree? But it shows this, because remember this, it was after that I went on to become a judge, attorney general, and governor of Texas. And it shows 2 things. One thing that shows, it epitomizes what I say is that Texas is the land of opportunity. that even a young man can have his life broken in half and still rise up and be governor of this great state. That is what Texas is all about. But it also epitomizes something that is my core belief, but I think is also your core belief, and I know is a core existential aspect of Israel, and that is we are not defined by how we're challenged. Instead, we are defined by how we respond to those challenges. That, of course, that is a defining characteristic of the Jewish people, and it must be the trademark of our collective future going forward. Thank you all, God bless you all, and God bless the great state of Texas.
Thank you, Governor of Texas, Greg Abbott.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being here.
Get ready to create an unforgettable IAC moment. Hulu Long, starting soon.
And now, please welcome to the stage from IAC Ofek, Noah Tzaig Bechor and Benjamin Zilber.
Shalom, my name is Benjamin.
And I'm Noah, and we are students at
IAC Ofek.
Studying Hebrew at Ofek is different. It is an enjoyable and engaging experience. Not only did it help me improve my Hebrew language skills, but it also helped me develop a sense of community and love for Israel. Thanks to my teacher, Roman, I was confident enough to navigate and communicate while visiting Israel during my summer break. Roman's unique and interactive teaching style makes learning an enjoyable experience and provides opportunities for students to interact and form friendships with other Hebrew learners from around the U.S. This is the way to create Keilah for learners.
Besides Hebrew, IAC Ofek offers a variety of enrichment classes that focus on our heritage and connection to Israel. I have had the opportunity to take many of these classes, and I would like to share with you my experience learning about the Holocaust, a topic that is not covered by my school. Our teacher for the Holocaust course, Leslie, created a sense of community and created a safe space for different opinions and thoughts, allowing us to engage with this sensitive subject. Leslie introduced us to the personal stories of survivors. We saw their faces and we heard their voices and stories. One of our guests was Kara, Otto Frank's friend, who shared with us stories I had never heard before. It was a deeply moving experience, and it meant a lot to me to meet and talk with someone who was personally connected to Anne Frank's family. This made the story of Anne Frank come alive for me, as it was a story of a child my own age who had dreams, hopes, and friendships. Ofek offers classes and lessons that bring history to life in this way.
I like Ofek because I learn a lot of Hebrew and I learn a lot about Jewish holidays.
Speaking in Hebrew sometimes because I don't speak it a lot because I go to an American school.
באופק אני מקבלת להכיר אנשים כמוני שמדברים בעברית מישראל.
There's a huge variety of classes. My kid gets access to the best teachers in the country without having to leave the house.
I get to meet a lot of new people from different
countries, and I feel like I'm contributing.
I feel more confident with OFEC.
I just think that it's really important for the students to engage with each other as well as the material. So I make sure to create interactive lesson plans where they get to really express themselves and learn by doing.
Abbott is the place I live, a part of my identity.
But the most important is what I wrote here, Tikkun Olam.
Please welcome to the stage IAC National Board Member Yossi Rabinovich.
Good afternoon, the IAC family. A month ago, we lost Isaac Schaeffer, a dear friend and long-standing member of the IAC family. Isaac served as a board member for the IAC for Action and was one of the first organization's greatest supporter. Among with his wife, Miri, Isaac was a role model for all Israeli Americans who want to make a positive impact in their community and beyond. Isaac and Miri, entrepreneurs at heart, founded the industry leader company Life Alert, saving every day many lives across the United States. Isaac, who was a Holocaust survivor, son, succeeded in supporting various organizations and causes with a special focus on the supporting the state of Israel and the legacy community of and thrive the IAC Schaeffer Community Center, the first Israeli-American community center in the country, connecting our community and especially the young generation to Israel and the Jewish people. Miri, last night when we were eating at a late dinner amongst Isaac's best friends that we used all to eat and drink tequila together, I showed you photos from 12 years ago when you went to a trip in Wyoming with us, which was the trip that convinced you to join the IAC. Miri, this glass is for him. It's a real one. We lost a true loved friend that will always remain as a part of the IAC family. May his memory be blessed. Thank you.
Thank you, Yossi Rabinovich. And please welcome from IAC Mishelanu, Tyler Hadass Faulkner and Romy Benasuli.
Hello, IAC community.
My name is Tyler, and I'm an IAC Michelano ambassador for Florida Atlantic University.
And my name is Romy, and I'm an IAC Michelano Fellow at UC Santa Barbara.
We're here to proudly represent college students nationwide celebrating 75 years of Israel.
To all our friends, if you are a college student and Israel is in your heart, please stand up. Stand up, Michelano.
Make some noise!
Make some noise!
The IAC Michelano Fellows and ambassadors bring Israel and the Israeli experience to dozens of campuses across America, touching students year-round through events and campaigns.
From Cafe Ivrit at Berkeley, Yom Ha'atzmaut at Brandeis, Israel 101s at Temple University, and a pro-Israel student government resolutions here at UT Austin.
And when needed, we will fight BDS,
promote IHRA resolutions, and stand proud in our support for Israel.
Everywhere we go and everything that we do, Israel is in our heart. And we are here to amplify our voices as the next generation of leaders.
Thank you, IAC, and thank you, everyone.
My formal name is Rachel Freyer. My friends call me Ruchi. I'm a wife and a mother, and Baruch Hashem, a grandmother. I started out as a legal secretary, a maskira, as you say, and eventually I became a paralegal, then I became a lawyer, and my dream always was to become a judge. So what I didn't realize was that I would end up becoming the first woman who was from a Hasidic background that would become a judge. But the real big deal is my husband, because he's the first chassid that supported his wife, financed my campaign, and didn't stop until I won the election. My message to everybody is, don't compromise your values, not your religious values, not your family values. Be proud of who you are, and you can still be successful. That's what will withstand the test of time.
Please welcome to the stage journalist and TV host Miri Michaeli and the first Hasidic woman to ever be elected as a civil court judge in the U.S., the Honorable Rachel Freyer.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, Judge Rachel Freyer.
Thank you. Thank you for welcoming me, and thank you for inviting me. I'm so proud to be here, and I'm just looking forward to a wonderful Shabbos.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for finding time. Sure. And maybe I should start with that, with how to find time, because you do so many things. You're a judge, you're a lifesaver with Hatzalah, you're an educator with your project B'derech. Yeah, she deserves it completely.
So you'll find me very often talking about my mother, because she really is my best friend and such a smart woman. And my mother taught us that time is like money. It's not how much you have, it's how you spend it. And you have no idea how much time can be wasted and how much time can be saved.
I'm sorry, I forgot this little thing. Baktana, as we say. You have, bli ein ra, 6 children.
Yes. Baruch Hashem.
With all you do. That's amazing.
Well, at this point, my 6 children are married, and they all have children. So it's a little bit different now. Now it's a little bit easier. But don't ask me how old they are. My oldest grandchild is 13 years old.
You have grandkids. Wow. Wow, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Hamsa. I want to clarify. I did not ask you about your children and time because you're a woman. But let's get to the gender issue. Okay. When I look at the media, when it covers stories or everything that is related to the Hasidic community, it always feels like women are being silenced and men dominate the conversation. And you're kind of bucking that patriarchal stereotype.
So I think that's a misconception that in the Hasidic community, women are second class. I mean, do I look like I'm second class?
Not at all.
And none of my friends are second class. I think most of the women are more reserved. They don't take a public position. They just stay at home and do what they have to do. But we're not second class, and many of us are educated. Many of us do have jobs. But most of them don't like to do what I love to do, which is really being an unofficial representative, to set the record straight so people should really understand what the life of a Hasidic community person is like, what it's like being a mother, the opportunities that we have, the pride that we have of who we are. So I welcome your questions. The only questions I can't answer are questions about politics, because as a sitting judge, I can't discuss politics or any lawsuits or cases. But other than that, my personal life, it's all open. That's why I'm here.
That's wonderful. Thank you for that.
Okay.
I want to ask you, as a feminist, I assume you're a feminist.
Oh, no, I'm not a feminist at all. Let me explain that.
What?
It's
You
very
smashed
important.
all those glass ceilings. How come you're not a feminist?
Okay, so let me And you know something, I don't know if any of you have seen the documentary film 93
It's
Queen.
wonderful. You must watch it.
So that's a documentary that followed me for about 5 years when I formed Ezrat Nashim, which is the first all-women's volunteer ambulance service. And when I'm not working in court, I'm driving an ambulance at night, delivering babies and saving lives. But thank you. Here in America, there's a wonderful organization of volunteer EMTs for about 50 years, but they're all men, and they treat women, but they didn't let women join. So when women asked me to help them, I offered to help them, and I became their director. And during the filming of 93 Queen, the filmmaker wanted me to keep talking about that I'm a feminist because I'm standing up for women and the empowering women. And I said, let me stop you right now. In Judaism, I believe that our religion takes women and puts us on a pedestal. I'm very proud of the fact that in Judaism, what determines your identity is who your mother is. And that's a very, very big deal. Feminism is a secular concept. And that's something that I don't feel that women need to have a secular concept in Judaism to make us feel proud of who we are and understand that if there is any man who tries to make a Jewish woman subordinate, then he has a problem. But it's not Judaism's problem, it's his problem.
To me, Judaism is feminist because being a feminist means just believing in equal rights for women, but not as a feminist, as a wonderful woman. I want to ask you, when you look at the ultra-Orthodox community, do you look at young girls there, would you like them to receive better education?
Well, let me talk about my daughters. My daughters are all married, and I want for them what my mother said she wanted for her daughters. I want my daughters to be happy. So one is home cleaning her house and cooking all day. And by the way, my 3 daughters live in Jerusalem. Okay? Right. Yes, I'm very proud of that. And when you go into Shandy's house, you must take off your shoes because that's how clean the house is. Now, my other daughter, Fagi, is a photographer. She took a course. She learned how to be a photographer. She works in the home where the women are after they have the babies. What's it called? Beit Hachlama. And she takes pictures all the time, and so she has a profession. And my other daughter, she works with me at Ezrat Nashim. And they both have their college degrees. So we have opportunities, and it's not that you can't do it. What I have learned, and I learned that firsthand when I was starting Ezrat Nashim, is that most women by choice want to be home, even if they have the opportunity. And I've met many women along my pathway, my career, who are not from the ultra-Orthodox community, who decide they want to stay home and raise a family. So to those women who do that, I say, Kal HaKavod, it's your choice. And those who want to go out to work, Kal HaKavod as well. So I think we live in a great era where we have this opportunity because my grandmother and my great-grandmother back in the shtetl in Hungary didn't have this opportunity. But I come from a family of strong women.
I want to ask you, your husband, I'm sure, gets a lot of credit.
Oh, absolutely. Truthfully, he really is the hero of my story because, while I may be the first Hasidic woman that ran for public office, he's the first Hasid who supported his wife. He paid for my campaign. I maxed out all his credit cards. And he's so proud of what I'm doing.
But when he goes to shul, does his friends, do they look at him differently?
With pride. Absolutely. They're very proud. You also need to understand that in New York, there are several ways of becoming a judge. So I became a civil court judge by an election. And my community, that's mostly Haredim and Hasidim, voted for me in order for me to become a judge. So I had the support of many rabbis and the people, and my opponent was an Orthodox man. And just 2 weeks ago, this is very recent news, I was appointed as an acting Supreme Court judge in Brooklyn. And that job started just 2 weeks ago.
Bravo.
Thank you.
Mazel tov. What did little girl Ruchi wanted to do when she grows up?
Everything. Everything. You know, when I graduated high school, my aunts bought me a gift, and they bought me a card. Mazel tov, Ruchi, on your graduation. And I opened up the card, and there was a napkin. To the girl who wants to have her fingers in every pie. I wanted to do everything. And you know, my mother, when she was raising us, she would take to us girls. You know, we were 4 girls. My baby brother was born after I was married. My mother and I had babies together. My brother is 6 weeks older than my son. So anyhow, my mother always says, girls, you could do whatever you want to do. Whatever you want, you could do, so long as it isn't illegal, immoral, or against the Torah. So I grew up knowing the world is wide open with opportunities. There are rules, but whatever you want to do in life, there are rules. You want to drive a car, you have to follow the rules also. So I'm somebody who follows all the rules, Mary. I want you to know that for me, as a Hasidic woman, I follow the rules. I feel it's very important. And I also feel that it opens the door for questions. So when I'm introduced to a man for the first time, whether he's a judge or a lawyer or anybody else, and he wants to shake my hand, and I'll say, please forgive me, I'm Hasidic, I don't shake hands with men, but we can be friends. And
how do they react?
So, well, if you live in New York City, it's so diverse with so many different cultures that most people know. And then they will ask more questions. And I think for me, I think it's an opportunity to make a Kiddush Hashem, to show people from the outside that we can be observant, we could be women, we can have children. And then when they ask me how many grandchildren I have, I tell them, we stopped counting.
I have so many other questions, and I'm sure everyone wants to hear more from you, but unfortunately, our time is up. I want to invite everyone to come later on to our longer conversation together with Eli Reisman. Thank you so much, Judge Freyer.
Thank you.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Miri Michaeli and the Honorable Rachel Freyer. And now, get ready for a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Please welcome Kululam.
Israeli musical group, Kululam.
Kululam, Kululam.
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 We're here only to connect between people, to inspire people.
600 strangers.